Leading trainer Gillian Heinrich on the Gold Coast here. Gillian, you've got two runners in the 2-year-old race at the Gold Coast on Saturday. How are they travelling at the moment?
Yeah, look, couldn't be happier with them. Both of them going into the race, probably the best that I can get them for the day. So luck plays a big part in those sort of races, so let's hope we have a little bit of luck.
Mildred Gray, she's an interesting runner. She had a run down in Melbourne and ran a good race in the Spring Carnival. Now she's back up here for the Gold Coast race. Yeah,
it was a really good run in Melbourne actually, 1,000 metres down the straight. First time at Flemington on Melbourne Cup Day. It can be a little bit daunting to 2-year-olds having their first start. It was a great run. Michael Rodd thought he might have gone just a tad too early on her, but you know, a little bit of greenness showed through, and it's still very, very happy with the run and come back here and she's unbeaten up here, so it's good.
That's right, she's trained on the track here and she's 1-2 in town, and she seems to handle the wet pretty well.
Yeah, the last start was on a heavy 10. Most of my horses don't handle a heavy track, but thank goodness her and Internal Revenue both handled it, got through it good. She won and he ran fourth, so it was good.
She's by General Nadeem. Now some of them tend to handle a heavier track, but some don't, but she's obviously the exception.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's probably 50-50 with General Nadeem. You know, unlike some sires that absolutely love it. We had Military Rose last year. She hates the wet, and this filly this year seems to like it. I'm not saying she loves it, but she gets through it.
Her work this morning, are you pleased with that?
Yeah, she only went slow work this morning. She'll have a final gallop tomorrow morning. We do all our work on the Belby, so we'll go ahead tomorrow and gallop her, and I'm sure I'll be happy with her.
Looks highly likely we're going to have a heavy track, but the drainage is pretty good, so let's fingers crossed we might get some reasonable sort of surface by Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt it will be heavy, but fingers crossed that it doesn't rain either Thursday or Friday, and we can race. That's probably the biggest problem at the moment.
You've also got Internal Revenue, the colt by Exceed and Excel. He's an interesting runner. He ran a great fourth last start behind the stablemate.
Yeah, he wasn't far off her either. He hit the line really, really well on the heavy 10 track. So, you know, I'm looking forward to both chances in the race, and like I said, a little bit of luck on the day, it'd be lovely.
And jockey-wise at the moment, you've got Dan Griffin and Michael Robb, but you haven't decided which way who'll ride which horse at the moment.
No lean really until tomorrow at the barrier draw.
With the barrier draw, is that going to be critical for your two? Where would you like to be drawing?
Well, normally you'd say it was critical, but when you start coming to heavy tracks, you start to wonder where, you know, what actually is the good barrier for the heavy tracks. Half the time it's certainly not on the fence. You'd like to be off the fence a little bit, so yeah, it'll depend. Where
would you see the biggest dangers in the race?
Oh, obviously Curator Queen, the horse from Canberra. Look, every horse in the race actually, we're all there for the reason. You know, the 16 that line up have all learnt their way there, so you know, really I don't think you can take anything away from any of the runners.
We don't have to go back to last year when you won the race with Military Rose, and hopefully you might be in the winner's stall again this year.
That would be very, very nice.